Hey everybody, Coach Lori here, One Life Coaching and Wellness, coming to you guys on a topic that I wanted to talk about. Basically, I'm a failure. And I know that sounds like a horrible thing to say and a horrible way to feel and all of that kind of stuff, but it is a reality, right? I mean, we all sometimes feel like failures, and our thoughts and our emotions and everything that goes into that thought process can not only make you feel bad, but can also make it more true, right? If you already feel like a failure, you are going to make actions of a failure. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to be happy. So it's just going to be a downward spiral, kind of a downward effect, right? So I wanted to kind of tell a couple of stories kind of from my past of where I have felt like a failure and just seeing if anybody can kind of relate to these types of situations. I know they're going to be different than what you've dealt with, but they're just these situations that I have gone through. So I've been in the fitness industry for probably now about 17 years, okay? When I first started, one of the first places that I worked, one of the first, not the very first, but one of the first places that I worked was the YMCA. And it was a brand, hey Kara, good to see you. It was a brand new YMCA. It was beautiful. It was out in Pueblo West, all of you Pueblo, yes, Pueblo proud in Colorado. I was working there, and I remember, I was just kind of, it wasn't my very first place, but I was still pretty fresh and new, to all of this stuff. I started a kickboxing class, and then I started a Y firm class. It was like a body bar, kind of like weight training class. And I just keep remembering that my classes would, they'd start off a little bit, less people. And then as it would progress, we would get more and more and more and more people into these classes. And it was awesome. It was one of those things where it was like, man, I feel great about what I'm doing. I'm full of energy. I love the energy in the class. I love everything that I'm doing. This is phenomenal. It is awesome. So it got to the point to where the class sizes were actually too big to be, hey Ginger, good to see you. The classes were actually too big to be in the actual studios that they had. So we actually had to move to the gym, which was an exciting jump, right? It's like, oh my gosh, we can't fit everybody in these studios. So that's a good thing, right? It means I'm giving something good, giving something exciting. People are happy with what I'm doing. And so we moved into the gym, and I just remember classes would keep growing and they would keep growing and they would keep growing. And it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I felt amazing. I felt like, gosh, I can help so many people. So many people are responding to me. This is such a positive environment. Oh my gosh, how do you feel? How could you feel any better as a coach, as somebody who is trying to help people, to know that more and more and more and more people are coming to your class, right? So I felt phenomenal, right? But here's what happens, okay? And this is what happened to me. And I don't know if it happens to everybody. I might be just a very rare case, right? But I would get up to sometimes in the hundreds of people in the class, or up to 100. But then there would be classes where I would have 60, or there would be classes where I would have 40, and I would just be like, what the heck? And instantly, I didn't think about the entire process of, man, I'm a newer coach. Look at how long it took me to get all of these people. I didn't think about how all the positives that I felt when I was, getting all the people. It was just more and more and more. It was exciting, exciting, exciting. I didn't think about that. The second that the numbers were less than what I knew that the potential numbers could be, I started feeling negative. I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I'm losing people. They're not liking what I'm putting out. What is going on? Why don't I have as many people? And I know some of us probably run into that, right? It's like, I feel like such a failure. And here's what happens, right? When we feel that way, we go into that class that may not have, or at least I did at the time. I went into the class that didn't have, the hundreds of people in it. And I started off with a negative feeling. And it's like, are you kidding me? There's still tons of people here that are ready and willing for me to work them out, and they're excited and they're ready to jump for joy. And I would have a negative feeling going into that environment. And it's like, what is going on? Why is my brain working this way? Why is my brain still telling me that I'm a failure and telling me all of these things when there's still people there that want to be there for me, that need me? All of that. Why am I still thinking I'm a failure? Now, granted, obviously, I didn't bring that to the class. I tried to push it aside, and obviously bring as much energy as I could to the class. But I still think no matter what, I probably could have brought even more energy. Hi, there you go, Melinda. Good to see you. Your life's mantra. I like that. So I probably could have even brought more, more energy, more excitement, and felt better if I just would have realized that my mind is what is attacking me here, right? My mind now is saying you're a failure. You don't have as many as the numbers that you had the other day. So now that makes you a failure. People don't like you as much. People don't like your classes as much. You are now officially a failure. And the more and more and more that I felt like a failure, the more that it became true, especially in my mind. So now I had to get a certain amount in my classes or else I didn't feel successful. I had to have a certain amount of comments on my classes or else I didn't feel successful. I depended on other people's thoughts of me, feelings of me, emotions about me to make my happiness. And it was ridiculous, but I still did it. I still did it. And then on the days when there'd be hundreds of people, yes, that was a good day for me. And it's like, why? Why did I put all of my self worth in the fact that I had more people that day? Why does that matter? And again, I loved every single one of my clients. I loved everything that everything was about, and I loved to be there for them. It's just I'm being honest with what was going on in my head, even though anybody else would have looked at it and said, she still has tons of people in her class. Like, what is wrong with her? What is, why would you even consider feeling like a failure? You're phenomenal. You're a great coach. But in my mind, I believed it. And the more that I believed it, the more that it became true in my mind, and the more that I couldn't enjoy something that I loved. I loved being a coach. I loved coaching kickboxing. I loved coaching the strength training classes. But there would come times when I didn't love it. And it was all based on numbers in the class, people that commented and told me how great of a class it was, or all of those things that it's like, why am I putting my self worth in somebody else? Now, granted, when you're a coach, when you're a teacher, when you're any of those kind of things, it is important to get feedback, right? So that is part of our job. We're supposed to get feedback. But at the same time, we cannot rely on that feedback to make us feel better and to make us feel quality and to make me a better coach. I wasn't a better coach on the days that I had hundreds of people in class than I was on the day that I had 40 people in class. I wasn't a better coach. Well, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I was the same coach. It's just that in my mind, I was a failure because I didn't have all of these people. I'm going to tell you guys one more story. If you guys relate to this at all, please comment, say something. I know we've got Kara here, Ginger here, Melinda. It's so good to have you guys here. If anybody else kind of relates to this, is there anything in your life that you have felt like, man, I should feel like a rock star in this, but I don't because I'm putting all of my thoughts and what other people think and other people feel and all of that. So yes, Kristen, influencing one person a day can make a significant impact on someone's life. You're a rock. You are a rock, Lori. So I thank you, Kristen, and I know that. I mean, I know that, and it's one of those things that again, you put into your head, I don't have a million people coming to my class, and so it's like I'm a failure. I'm not any good, right? And then it just puts you down this path that just sucks, and then you go to class and you don't feel good, whatever. So, I mean, that was a battle that I battled with, especially at the beginning of, coaching. It was just a very big battle. And I think a lot of us deal with that. And if you have, again, I want you to comment and kind of say things that, hey, I've dealt with this before, Lori, in a different reason, in a different aspect or whatever. Okay. So yeah, so that was a big battle for me with, being a coach and all of that. So there's another story that I want to tell you a little bit and see, if this might be something that you can relate to. And this is something to where when you feel like a failure, what is the next step? So again, when I was at Begin Coaching, I still kept coming. I kept showing up. I kept doing it, which was a lot for me. It was really hard, especially on the days when there wasn't tons of people and tons of good compliments and all of that. But I still showed up and I still did it. And that to me is a win. And that to me is like, okay, I'm not a failure anymore because I'm still showing up, even though I felt like a failure. Hi, Ginger. I love the little hand on the face. So let me tell you kind of another story. So again, I wasn't completely a failure, even though I feel like it, because I still showed up. I didn't quit my job. I didn't go into a hole and start crying and whining and saying nobody likes me or, do any of that kind of stuff. No matter how much I wanted to do that on days, I did. It was stupid. People would look at me like, what is your problem? You have all these people following you. What is your problem? And it's like, well, the mind is stupid. Our mind is stupid. Okay. So one more story really quick to see if anybody relates or even feels me or anything, or if I am the only person in the world that has these feelings, let me know that too. I would love to know that I am just like a crazy person that has these feelings. But I remember, so after all of that, we decided to move to Panama City, Florida, right? It was a crazy move that we decided to do, just totally out of every single one of our comfort zones. We were not movers and shakers. We were happy with our little life, and life was good, right? Moved to Panama City, Florida, and I remember I started working for a gym, right? And in this gym, it was a little bit smaller. They didn't have a ton of clients, any of that kind of stuff. And I came in like a whirlwind, okay? Because at this point, I had been working at other gyms and really helping build their clientele and doing a lot of that. So I was already kind of that person that would really, really try to build clients and get gyms, to that next level. So it was the YMCA, and then I worked for another gym that I really brought up a lot of sales and clients and all of that stuff. So fast forward, moving to Panama City, I just kind of jumped in there like a tornado to this business and said, "Hey, this is what I did in the last gym that I worked at. I want to do it here, and I want to bring tons of clients and excitement and everything." And so I did. And so, they were just like, whoa, this whirlwind came in. It was a smaller gym, and all of a sudden, this tornado comes in and wants to get everything going and running and going 100 miles an hour. And I did. I mean, I did. It was really, really great. Lots of clients coming. They were very excited to have me there. We were helping so many, many people, and it would just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and it was amazing. And the reason it grew is because, it was a very positive environment there. It was a very exciting thing, and it was just one of those things where, it keeps building, it keeps going. You're excited. You're, wow, this is awesome, right? Well, then it got to the point where they were doing so well that they no longer needed me anymore. And I know some of you know this story, but they no longer needed me anymore in their minds, right? It was, Lori came, she did, she, helped us get to this point, and now we're just going to do it on our own. We're gonna figure out, kind of what we did. She did. We already know kind of what she did, so we're going to just do it and, save the money of not paying Lori was really kind of what it boiled down to. It's a little bit nastier than that and not great, but that's one of those things that we go through in life. So I just remember, I mean, I built this company up, and granted, it wasn't just me, it was all of the trainers, it was the owners, it was everybody. Every single person was involved, right? I was just the tornado that was like, let's start this engine, let's get this going, this tornado going, right? Everybody there contributed 100% and made it to what it was. Incredible trainers. We had absolutely amazing trainers, incredible owners, incredible programs, incredible environment, family, or it was a very, very, very good environment. So again, it was everybody. It was again just this tornado that came in and kind of pushed everything that was great and just let more people see the greatness, right? So when they let me go, right? When they let me go, it was one of the hardest hits of one of my careers, right? Of some of the careers that I have had. And I was absolutely broken, and I felt like a complete and total failure, right? Even after doing the things that I did, even after, building this company up to something that it wasn't, to where it had to expand, to where we had to have more space for people, to where we had to do more building on to get people to do it. And it just grew like wildfire. But in that instance, none of that mattered at that point, right? All that mattered is that, why did I get let go? What did I do wrong? Why did that happen? I'm a complete and total failure. Why did this happen, right? And it's amazing how our mind works that way. And I don't know if any of you guys ever feel that way. No matter what you have done, all of a sudden one thing can happen and you're back to that failure mindset, and that I'm a loser and I can't do anything and I'm not good enough and I'm not smart enough and I'm not strong enough. I'm not any of this, right? And I knew my worth a little bit. I mean, I knew, I'm like, God, I really feel like I helped this company out. I really feel like I did a lot for them. Why am but then obviously I failed them, because if they still needed me, they would have had me, right? So it broke me. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, it broke me for a good amount of time. I literally remember just kind of like sitting there like, well, now what am I going to do? Like I put my heart and soul and everything into this. You know, I'm still newer to this area, whatever. Like I put everything that I had. I mean, I think I worked there for about 2 years or so. And I put everything that I could and everything that I had into it. And so I would sit there and there's nothing next. Like there's just nothing next for me. Like this is it, right? I don't what am I going to do? And all these stupid thoughts and I'm a failure. Like I can't do it again. I can't go into another business and try this again. I can't, right? And you know, that was a good week of like literally poor me feeling sorry for myself, and that's what we do all the time. We feel sorry for ourselves. We think we're failures, but it's really just really feeling sorry for yourself is what it kind of boils down to. And it's kind of being selfish to those around you because you're kind of being a little bit of a jerk. You're not happy. And again, it's not anything that you're doing necessarily wrong, but it's a horrible place to be. But I had to go through that. I had to understand it. I had to go through those feelings and all the emotions that I was feeling from everything that had happened, of feeling rejection and of feeling unworthy, of feeling that, you know, oh my gosh, they screwed me over, and just every feeling negative that you could feel. I had to get through that. And I had to feel those feelings. And I think that's the one thing sometimes we forget is that we have to feel those feelings. We can't put them under the rug. We can't shove them under the rug. We can't, you know, pretend that they're not there. We have to feel them. And then I remember I was like, screw this. This isn't who I am. I am not one to let things just get me down. This is not who I am. Okay. Even though everything in my being does that. So I want to be clear. Like, there's not just this, like, you know, gene that somebody has. And maybe there is a gene that somebody has. I don't have that gene that just makes me feel like I can conquer all. That I don't have anything to worry about, that no matter what, I'm the best at everything that I do and I'm great. I don't have that gene. Maybe somebody does. I don't think it's a gene, but somebody could argue either way, right? So I have to fight for that feeling. I have to fight to feel that I'm not a failure. I have to fight to feel that I can push on. I have to fight to feel that I can do it again and I can be successful, because there's every single part of me that wants to go back into a hole and sit there and wallow in my own self-pity and know that and think that I'm a failure. That's my go-to. So the rest is fighting tooth and nail. Okay, so it's not easy. Some people think, oh, it's easy. You just go and do this. And thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, it's a crazy gene, right? It's not. I don't think there is a gene, right? It's not. That's not. It is. But maybe somebody has the gene. If you have the gene, make sure you comment on here saying, "Hey, Lori, I've got the gene. I feel like I can conquer the world." Right? I don't have that gene, and so I am fighting, 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 fighting. And so that whole 7 days, it was trying to fight. I'm not a failure. I'm not a failure. I'm not a failure. Trying to fight that feeling. But here's the thing: like, I never got over the feeling of being a failure ever, and I still don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. But what I do is I take that and realize this is just a feeling, this is just a thought. It's not reality, right? It is just a thought. It's not reality. I cannot be a complete and total failure at everything that I do. That's just not a reality. Okay, I can't do that. So I have to say, even though I kind of feel like a flippin' failure right now, and I want to cry and I want to scream and I want to whatever, even though I feel that way, I am still going to step out and do something that scares the crap out of me, because I am going to think about the end result, and I'm going to think about where I want to be, because I don't want to be right where I am right now. I don't want to be here. This sucks. Sucks, sucks, sucks. And all it's going to do is continue to suck, and it's going to be a snowball effect of suck, and I'm just going to suck for everybody, and it's going to be just a sucky world. And yes, suck is my word today. So what do I have to do? What do we have to do? We have to say, even though I still flip and feel like a failure, because there wasn't something that happened in those 7 days where I was like, okay, now I'm amazing. I'm going to go out and do something again, right? There wasn't that little switch. There wasn't any of that. It was that, okay, I feel like a failure right now, but I'm going to do something about this feeling. Okay? Because you can change your feelings. It's crazy. It's mind blowing that you can change your feelings. Mind blowing. But I'm telling you, you can do it. Okay? So, still feeling like a failure, still feeling like I could fail, still feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this again, still having all those feelings, I still stepped out and did it. Okay? Now, that is the difference between, you know, feeling like a failure and staying in that spot, or feeling like a failure and moving. And you don't need a gene to do that. Literally, all you need to do is get your butt up and try. Period. There's no gene that makes you strong enough to do it. There's no amount of psychology that can boost your brain to make you feel that way. In my opinion, no, it doesn't work that way. To me, it was like, I just have to try again. And if I fail, well, gosh, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I feel right like I do right now. So here we are. I mean, I either feel like I feel now or things get great. And then I started thinking the positive, and I started realizing that if I try and if I push myself a little bit harder, and if I say, I know I feel this way, I know I think this way, I know that I don't think I'm successful, but I still push and I try to hang on to those things. Lori, you had hundreds of people in your classes. Lori, you built that business up to what it is with so much help from all of the people on the team and everything. You came in like a hurricane. You knew, what to do, when to do it. So I had to start really thinking about some of those positives instead of the negatives. And those positives are the only thing that will make you step out of failure, because no matter what, you still think you're going to fail. You're just not scared of it anymore. Boom. I still thought that I could fail. Like, there's just no doubt. I don't know anybody that goes into anything that doesn't think that they can still fail. Okay. I can still fail, but now it's not going to bother me as much if I do. It's crazy. It's weird because I'm just going to keep going until I don't fail. And if I do fail, I know what it feels like. I've been there, I've done it, and I know how to get through it again. So it's going to be okay. I know that I'm not going to be stuck there. I'm not going to let myself stick there because it sucks there, right? I'd rather be pushing for something that scares the crap out of me, that I'm afraid I'm going to not do. I'd rather go that direction than sit there in failure, right? And then if I fail again, it'll be again another failure. I've got tons of them. I can go all day, but and then if I fail again, then I don't feel as bad because it's like I've already been there, done that. Failure sucks, but I've got through it before. I can get through it now. Okay, so that's something to think about. So what I did was I decided to start my own business. It was called Faithfully Fit. It was based off of a ministry that I did when I was in Pueblo. There was so much passion and joy and excitement and scariness that went into it. But here's the thing. I started to get excited again. I started to realize that I have something that I can give to somebody again. I started to realize that I can help people again. I started to realize that I can do things again. I'm not put on this earth to feel like a failure because I was giving nothing to nobody when I felt like a failure and let it overtake me. It's okay to feel like a failure. It's not okay to let it overtake you to where you don't do great things. Okay? So then I go and start my own business. Scariest thing I've ever done in my flippin' life. I took on two people that are amazing, Leanne and Lori, another Lori. We started this business together. They had my back, I had their back. I mean, they were the trainers of the business, and I only had two trainers. They were the trainers, I was a trainer, and that's how we started. And then we ended up growing to about 15, 16 trainers. We ended up growing to 200 plus classes a week and personal trainings and different things that we were doing. 200 plus we were doing throughout the week through what we were doing with our programming and all of that stuff. So it was phenomenal, right? And none of that would have happened if I would have been stuck in failure and stuck in, the poor me attitude and the poor everything. Now, when I was doing that, was there times of failure feeling? Absolutely. Right? During the slow seasons, during, right before Christmas, everybody's, wanting to eat, not really exercise. Some people are, but, so yeah, there was failure during that time, but I always had to continue to keep reminding myself that it will get better, it will get better, it will get better. Then there's a ton of crazy stuff that happened after that, but that'll have to be on another message to you guys. But the main reason that I wanted to come to you today is because we all feel like failures. I had somebody even like ask me if I've ever failed. I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? Like, I think people have this like view of people sometimes like there's just no way you could fail. There's just no way that you could do this. And it's like, if you were in my mind, you would totally understand that, yeah, I know what it's like to fail. I know what it's like to feel that way, but I'm also know how to get out of there now. I know how to start thinking better and feeling better and pushing myself towards the future as opposed to being stuck. And I know so many of us have that stuck feeling, and it just sucks. But I'm here to tell you that it can change. That feeling can go away. There is something that you can do, and usually it's just pushing through and moving on to the next thing, feeling it, knowing that you have that feeling, understanding it, taking it in, but not taking it as, gospel that this is exactly what we need. So if anybody has any questions for me about this, or any comments or concerns, or would like any, future coaching on this, it's something that I'm extremely passionate about to talk about and help my clients through, because it's such an amazing or crazy thing, the fear of failure. And it's something that I'm going to struggle with for the rest of my life, but at least now I have tools to get through that failure and feel better and not go down that spiral snowball effect. So if there's anybody that is interested in learning a little bit more about how to push through, I'm more than happy to talk to you guys about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was amazing to share. Sometimes you have to share your inabilities and your heart to, let others know that I'm real. I'm a real person. I have real feelings. I have real emotions, and I'm just here to help. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. If you need anything, let me know.